Hi everyone, Martin here. Welcome back to Accidentally Detailed. Today we are starting a new full series about the most iconic Soviet tank. This series will cover the full building, painting and weathering process in many episodes. I want to make this series a hybrid one. It will still follow one model, but every episode will aim more deeply into the process. Let's see if you will enjoy this format. This episode is mainly aimed at creating Soviet rough texture and battle damage. So, let's start. When we are building tanks, we usually start with wheels. The RFM kit has a separated wheel from the rubber rim, which is cool. As the first damage on this vehicle, I decided to make damage to the rubber rim. To recreate it, I cut off plastic from the rubber rim. I cut it in various shapes and depths to avoid a uniform look. The damage is mostly on the edges of the rubber rim. The idea behind this is that the rubber tears off with tug movement in harsh conditions. It is possible to see this on some wartime photos. When we are finished with the damage, we apply thin plastic cement on it. I used Mr. Hobby Cement SP. It will smooth out the edges and harsh cuts. Here is the comparison: two wheels, one representing a fresh new one and one worn after a few offensives. As a side note, I would like to mention the really nice tracks in this kit. They are link and length type and easy to build. What is more, they have nice details, even tiny cast numbers. I glued the tracks and wheels together into a removable section. It is harder for painting than having separated tracks, but we will deal with it. Another battle damage is the completely missing fenders. I found one photo, a Winter T-34 completely without fenders. I immediately knew I would like to recreate this. The tank without them looks more dramatic than with them. The process here was simple. With cutters, I cut most of the fenders from the hull. After that, I sanded down everything that remained. On the front plate, there were some fenders holders. I repeated the process on them as well. Before recreating the raw steel texture on the hull, we need some preparation. First, I drilled holes for future grab handles. The next step was to engrave a line for the future weld bit. First, I used a razor saw to create the line. I find razor saw ideal for creating new panel lines. The weld will be wider than the line. For that, I made it wider with a scalpel. The process is simple. Just scrape material away with the tip of a scalpel. Another thing I recreated were flame cuts from autogen cutting. First, I scrape lines on the side of the armor plate. Then I apply thin cement over it to smooth the harsh edges from the cuts. Now we can recreate the surface of the rolled armor plates. First, I prepared Tamiya basic putty. Then I thinned it down with extra thin cement. This mix of cement and putty we apply onto the armor plates. We apply it with a stippling motion, here and there, layer over layer. Pure randomness is the right word for this process. Do not worry, it will look rough. I even added some thicker putty here and there. When it dried, we just sand it down a little. Here it is needed to find the right balance with sanding. Rolled armor has less prominent texture than cast armor. We should aim for some flat surface maps instead of big holes or bumps. Now when the texture is done, we can add the handles. To recreate them, I used 0.3 mm copper wire. There are many same size grab handles. For that, I used a specific tool to bend the wire. We get exactly the same grab handles. I just placed the grab handles into the holes. Then from the opposite side, I fixed them with CA glue. Here they are. We just need to add welds there. I was able to spot some detail on historical photo. Where these fenders were torn down, pin welds were left behind. To recreate them, I cut small pieces from thin plastic thread. This process took me quite some time and nerves, especially due to problematic handling of these small pieces. We just need to glue one piece after another into a straight line. leaving gaps between them because it was not one continuous weld. I glued it with extra thin cement. It slightly melts the plastic thread and integrates it into the surface more. The result is not the best, but I was not able to make it better. On the hull there were also some missing welds. I prepared a worm from green stuff putty. The process is simple. Move the putty worm in the position along the line. Then press it down with a toothpick. Finally, recreate the texture of the weld bead. You can make it more or less textured. For recreating welds, I use green stuff putty or Tamiya epoxy putty. Both are the easiest to work with for this process. Now it is time for some battle damage. To recreate hits, I first drilled holes into the fuel drum. Because the plastic is too thick to mimic sheet metal, we need to try to make it thinner. For this, I used a rotary tool and sanded material from the inside. The PE part could be better, but we work with what we have. What I found interesting when using the rotary tool is that we can recreate sheet metal twisting. Just increase the speed on your rotary tool and it will hit the plastic. When the sanding was done, I tried to improve some hits with a knife. As a final step, I applied a bit of thin plastic cement to smooth the edges. Here is the fuel drum in its place. Please tell me in the comments what you think about this kind of damage on plastic. The last improvement on the hull was to depress the engine grill. I just press it with the handle and that is all. The result is that the grill is not totally flat. Now it was time for the turret. The turret has quite decent welds straight from the box, but I wanted to recreate a multi-pass weld type on the turret. For that, I needed to cut down the existing weld, using a sharp scalpel, recreating the line for future welds same as before. First, scrape the line with the razor saw, then make it wider by scraping with the tip of a scalpel. The T-34 85 turret was made using sand casting. Liquid steel poured into sand molds, which left the distinctive rough grainy surface. Soviet factories preferred this method because it was fast and cheap. To try to recreate such a surface, we can start by scraping random lines. I noticed such lines on the surface in some photos of the T-34. Do not worry, Soviet armor accepts a lot of texture. After this, we add a lot of extra thin plastic cement on the surface. Then we stipple with an old cheap brush until we start damaging the surface. Because this was still not enough, I tried another thing. I made a ball from aluminum foil. Then again applying a lot of glue onto the surface. Finally, I pressed this ball into the surface. It seems this creates better texture than the brush. Now we need to somehow make this surface less harsh and integrate it together. For that, we again use a mix of thin cement and Tamiya basic putty. Just apply it the same way as we did on the hull. Finally, we just sand down the whole surface a little bit. And here is the result. Rough, ugly Soviet cast armor. It was time again for the welds. This time, we are going to recreate a multi-pass weld. Again move the putty worm into its position. Smooth it a little with a wet finger. Here we do not level down the worm completely. We need the weld to be raised a little. To recreate the multi-pass weld texture, I used a kind of chisel. What we need here is just to press the wet chisel into the putty. We aim for random texture. The welds are wild on World War II armor. Here is the result of the multi-pass weld type. We need to use every plastic piece coming from the kit, so we can use the parts numbers. For what? For the casting numbers. Small detail but commonly seen on cast armor. The final step is the most interesting in this video, in my opinion. It is the bounce hit. To recreate it, first we drill a small hole with a scalpel. Then we make a bigger crater with a drill. This could be a good base for an unpenetrated hit, but we want a bounce one. For that, we cut the shape into something like a teardrop shape. The head itself we are going to recreate with green stuff putty. First, we put a little bit of putty into the hole. Then with the sculpting tool, we start recreating the shape. Here it is important to keep the tool wet, otherwise putty will start sticking to it. We need to recreate the melted armor edges around the head. The process is long and needs a little bit of patience. This head should represent a bounce from a Pak 40. It has 75mm caliber, so the head on a 1:35 scale model should have approximately 2mm diameter. The front rounded turret could bounce the 75mm head at around 1000 meters and more, at least based on information I was able to find. With some luck, I think. There was no chance of bouncing high calibers like the 88mm, I guess. Here is our bounce. Please tell me in the comments what you think about it. So guys, this episode is coming to an end. Here is the T-34 rotating. You can see it is mostly built out of the box. No PE set, no 3D parts and no metal tracks. This was the only episode from this series without any painting. In the next episode, we will turn it green. Thank you for watching and I wish you all the best.